work with me, you follow the rules. Rule number 1, you give me everything you've got. Rule number 2, then you give me more. And rule number 3, I make the rules.
My boy, Hayden Barton, Batman Tradition, you know. Actually, you don't know because I haven't uploaded a video in a month. But hey, I'm here. Don't worry. The 5-6 people I appreciate who give my videos a view. Thank you for sticking along. No, I just which, by the way, if you're hearing some background noise, I'm driving safely. I'm driving. Don't worry. But the creative juices, when I want to do a video, I can never quite have a pattern or some sort of set schedule of when I want to make these. Because there's a lot of times I want to make videos, but I gotta kind of be in the mood, or I have an idea, but I have to have the right feeling, or that time to make the video, you know what I mean? And they come very random, and sometimes, like this, they come in the car when I'm on my way from grabbing a delicious Dunkin' caramel iced coffee, aka Ben Affleck's Batman coffee, training, canon, confirmed. That's what he drinks, that's what I drink. We are both Batman. Well, actually, Clone of B1, clearly I'm Batman. Ben's like the fall guy, part-time, on-call kind of Batman at this point. That's not even remotely what the topic of this conversation is. This is news, Batman news, last couple days, actually probably more yesterday, kind of an exciting announcement, very exciting announcement if you ask me. Batman 89 and Batman Returns are coming to Dolby Cinemas, remastered with Dolby Atmos sound. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm going to show my youngster age here, but I will admit I was not born when either of these films came out, thank you very much. I was born when the greatest Batman film of all time, considered by the entire fan base, Batman and Robin, came out. So, hate to brag there, toot my own horn, but no, just kidding. But I still grew up watching those films to just a sickening amount when I was little, though, on VHS. I still hit the VHS era, so I still get a little bit of it. I'm not completely a young blood, but I'm really excited for this one. As soon as I saw it, I went and bought my ticket. So tickets are secured for me. But, in my opinion, 89 particularly, I think I like 89 a little bit more, but I really like both of them. But 89 has what I think is the best ending to a comic film of all time. And, it's a lot of nostalgia, I'm sure, but when when Gordon says he gave us this a signal and they light up, and then you have that score just panning up through that building, panning up through the rafters, and then you see Batman watching over the city on the gargoyle with those bells ringing and that music. It has always given me a chills, goosebump feeling, a heroic feeling, a Batman feeling that it's just never been able to compare. Like, I love that so much, and, it really emphasizes to me just how important a good score is for a film, because that music, which from what I believe is actually a piece of Beethoven that Danny Elfman kind of worked on a little bit to create it his own, is just so good. So right then and there, when I realized, because it's always been like a bucket list dream of mine to be able to experience that in a theater on a big screen with that, and so to think not even is it going to be a big screen, and not only is it going to be those loud speakers, it's going to be Dolby remastered with Dolby sound, is going to be so cool, so badass. I am so excited. I have tickets for both, so Batman 89, 7 p.m., a little bit of break, I imagine. Then we jump into Batman Returns right at 10 p.m. So I think, hopefully, it'll be a cool time where it's just a lot of diehard Batman fans in the theater enjoying it, just, watching it in all of its glory. They said in the details how it's going to emphasize, like, so one of the articles joked you're going to be able to see Jack Nicholson's pores more on his Joker makeup and how good that'll look, and I'm excited. Now, the next piece of news, well, I'm not going to say news, it's speculation, because this one keeps going around a lot, because the casting for the DCU Batman, and this is just the off-season casting like it's always been for Batman, where rumor this, rumor that, you hear this, we reported this, we have a source that says that. And this one particularly is, there's a couple that their names always get thrown out, but Brandon Sklenar is getting mentioned more and more, in my opinion, from what we've seen. And this piece of news in particular comes out from his recent photo he posted with a trainer of him in shape for a film. Now, the trainer emphasized that it's his biggest role yet. Now, some people right away were kind of basically theorizing at that point, oh, biggest role yet. What if he's already cast as Batman? What if it's this? Because, the dude's got the look, he's got the voice, the physique, like, right then and there. Honestly, if he were to drop into a Batman film with that photo physique, he would have the best physique of any Batman actor of all time. But also, some things have been reported, too, that it's actually for a film. I believe it's called Fast. I don't really know what it's about or the premise of it, but let me kind of add something on that still makes that interesting for people who are also Brandon Sklenar fans for Batman, is that from what I understand, this Fast film, was completely, purposely, individually picked by David Zaslav to be picked up from WB. Now, I don't remember what company it was with beforehand, but he himself, from what, rumors and word goes around, is he himself personally asked and picked for Warner Brothers to pick up that film. Right? See where I might be going with this? If they're on his radar, if Brandon's on his radar, there is evidence they personally asked to pick up that film, and I believe kind of start to get the person who's in the casting process for that Fast film also has an involvement with the DCU. I'll admit right away, he's my pick. I see 100% of Batman and Bruce Wayne in that guy, and I think he has the perfect look. Now, I don't necessarily believe, some people really point out that Batman needs an A-lister. They need someone who has, I guess they feel like, a sense of fame and audience when they bring into the role. I've personally never even really thought about that when it came to Batman casting. Now, sure, they always have casted pretty big-name actors. Well, I'm not even going to say pretty. I mean, big-name actors for the role. But, in my personal opinion, I don't believe that you need an A-list character to be cast. For whatever reason, I think that, I've seen people say that you can't cast a non-A-lister, or he's not big enough. He's not a name to play Batman. And I've never quite understood that, because I'm sorry, whoever they cast as Batman, whatever actor of any time, the Batman character, the Batman IP is much, much bigger of a name and legacy than any actor will ever be. It's Batman. It doesn't matter who is behind that cowl when it comes time. It is Batman, right? And so I personally feel like, and they even go this with the James Bond routes a lot, of casting not a no-name, but someone who's not quite a big name in Hollywood other than some good solid projects. And the purpose behind that is that they don't want the identity to have been, hey, this is so-and-so, but he's playing James Bond. It's always, hey, that's so-and-so, he's James Bond. Because they don't have that fame and notoriety to them, they are essentially able to absorb into that role and that legacy, becoming the character. So in this essence, Brandon Sklenar is very popular as Spencer Dutton from 1923, but, it's still, he's not quite elevated as such as, like, Affleck, Kilmer, or those A-list actors. So essentially they cast someone who has a good reputation in Hollywood as an actor and talent, but then as Batman, he is able to absorb into that character. Brandon Sklar is able to become Batman. That's how his legacy or his A-list notoriety piece of fame actually comes about, is from playing that character. And like I said before, that character itself, Warner Brothers itself, the marketing, the legacy, the IP, the characters, and everything around Batman brings the audience to that, brings that fame, brings that notoriety. It never once, and I would have a hard time thinking anyone would disagree with me, that it has ever been the actor playing a Batman role, the actor that has brought audiences to that Batman film. You know, like in the classic, I'd say Hollywood films of your Tom Cruise, your Arnold, your Brad Pitt, and all those A-list actors that basically sold audience or theater seats and the film solely by their name of like, hey, it's a Tom Cruise film, it's a Schwarzenegger film. That's not the same as Batman, you know. Any Batman Begins, like during the Dark Knight trilogy of the highest, you know, point of Batman film, like that whole craze, right? It was never sold as Christian Bale as Batman, and people are going to see Christian Bale as Batman, even though, you know, and I'm not saying that like Christian Bale was great, but they saw it because it's Batman. They liked Christian Bale's interpretation, and they liked that universe. They weren't just solely going to those films off of one name. And so hopefully, you know, if people are kind of understanding my rant a little bit, might seem to where, you know, I guess in reality, that went off even more than I thought. But this was essentially about how, you know, it's a fun era and time as people are really, really anticipating hearing these casting announcements and news. I mean, Batman fans are just always dying for one little piece of information they can. But, you know, some people also pointed out that his trainer was liking a lot of comments about him looking like Batman or Bruce Wayne. Now, I will say in that aspect, I wouldn't take those or him doing that necessarily as any sort of confirmation. And quite frankly, too, because let's say you took that at face value where, hey, his trainer was liking all these posts about Batman and Bruce Wayne. I mean, my God, he must be confirmed. Can you imagine? No studio is going to basically soft confirm a Batman casting announcement by a personal trainer liking Instagram comments, right? So even if it is true down the line, I just, you know, I think everyone still should right now kind of just look at where there's facts and there's, you know, some sort of paper trail of things to theorize, like the casting, David Zaslav, and everything I mentioned there. But, you know, other little quirky things, I know even, which sucks, but there's, you know, accounts online sitting there trying to report, oh, we've heard from this, we've heard from that. You know, who knows? Maybe they know something we don't. There's always a chance. But really kind of just look at the rumor mill for what it is. Look at the paper trail for what it is. And, you know, we're just going to have to keep waiting and see. But I have a feeling we could get it sooner than later. I think they always keep playing off that, oh, it's not casting. We haven't looked yet. We haven't done this. But I also personally feel like maybe they're keeping us a surprise, or it's hidden, or it's they're not going to tell us, but he might just randomly appear or show up and do something in this, that, or that. Could always be. But I think this is long enough for a almost 15-minute sporadic rant. But it's been Hayden Barton for the Batman Tradition. Thank you for everyone who subscribed and listened and, you know, kind of stuck around as I figure this shit out. But take care until then.